Um, I I don't know where to start with this freaking album. There's a lot of things to like go over and stuff. Like, yeah. I mean, I guess the first thing that comes to mind when you listen to the album, the biggest thing that like grabs your attention is obviously the beats. The beats on this album is just so glitchy and lo-fi and freaking dark sounding. And what I mean by the beat is glitchy, I mean like the beat would just like cut off just like that at like random moments, very spontaneous moments, and would just come back in. Like, it's not like XXX Tentacion's Look At Me song where it's just like cut off. Cut off. But instead the beat just like goes out and back in at like random freaking moments, and sometimes it's very choppy, like or another example where it would just be like and when I mean like the beat sounds dark, I'm not saying like, oh, it's freaking edgy, it's freaking scary in atmosphere and attitude, but I'm talking more about how it sonically sounds. Like when I mean like this, it would sound very lo-fi and something, and it's coming from a radio, but you would keep that warm bass that you would usually hear, just not like the treble or the high fidelity of the noise. And the cool, really clever thing about this album, and I don't even think Earl meant to do this on purpose, the thing is like these beats are not repetitive, because the moment you start thinking they're repetitive, it's already switching over to the next song, because these songs are quick as ballsack. You already have people hating the album because they're those buttholes on like iTunes looking at the freaking track list, and they look at the duration and see that it's like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and they're like, these songs are so quick, I'm gonna rate it 1 star, I didn't even listen to the album yet, I'm such a freaking butthole. But really, you're gonna freaking whine about the duration? Because all these songs have a very similar feel, and even Earl's rap delivery is very similar throughout the whole song too. It's very consistent. Like, seriously, close your eyes, don't look at your phone, and just listen to the album. You can't even tell like the song switches, because these songs are very consistent in tone, and they go by fast, just like that. So yeah, what about Earl? What about Earl, huh? It's funny, because I remember in his album Doors, where they're just like, hey Earl, I need freaking 16 bars, you know what I'm saying? I need 16, you know, gang, gang, gang. But it's not even freaking bars on this album. It's like someone took all the bars on this album, and then they took a hammer, and they smashed all the freaking bars, where it's like tiny little freaking pieces. Because fortunately, Earl keeps his roots, because his rap flow and rhyme scheme is all over the freaking place. And what I mean by all over the place, I mean his rhyme scheme is so awkward and offsetting and syncopated. It's almost like he's like a jazz drummer, but rapping. So I mean, let me give you an example. Like, usually it works out like this, you know, word, word, rhyme, a word, word, rhyme, a word, word, rhyme. Like, you usually like rhyme at the end of every verse. But the thing is, Earl doesn't do it that way. He would rhyme like midway, or even in the beginning of the freaking verse, where it's not like word, 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 rhyme, but word, rhyme, rhyme, word, 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 rhyme, rhyme, word, rhyme, word, 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 rhyme, rhyme, word, rhyme, rhyme, word, rhyme, rhyme, word, rhyme, word, rhyme, rhyme. And it's really cool. It just even more puts you in a trance with the freaking weird beats, because it's almost like Earl is blurring the line between talking and rapping. Because throughout this whole album, it's almost like he's just talking. He's just like, what? I was rapping on this album? I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was just talking on this album. I was just using freaking samples I had on my phone, and I just freaking placed it in front of a beat, and there you go, I have an album. And it's not even just the rhyme scheme I don't understand. I mean, this is personally from my opinion, but I honestly don't know what the heck he's even rapping about. I mean, seriously, have you ever read like a philosophy book where you like read the freaking lines and then you gotta go back and read them again because you don't know what the heck it's even talking about? Alright fam, I'm gonna spit some freaking bars for you. I hope you guys read this book. All great deeds and all great thoughts have a ridiculous beginning. Great works have often been born in the street corner of a restaurant's revolving door. So it is absurdity, the absurd world, and the. I mean, seriously, this whole blur of the line between rapping and talking, it's almost like I can rap like Earl, but I know I'm not good as Earl. Okay, I'm not challenging him to a rap battle, but yeah, what up, guys? Hey, I'm Earl. Hey, yeah, like I can talk like this. People would think and piss that I sound like Earl. Down as a sad boy, clown as a bad boy. Proud to sound like Earl. Thank you, Bob boy. You guys think I sound like Earl, but I'm actually Asian. I mean, even though I don't really know what he's talking about, there's still like specific phrases that just like pop out to me, and then like, whoa, that's freaking that's pretty depressing, fam. Like, you know, I would hear all this mumbo-jumbo stuff and all this really cryptic stuff coming out of Earl, and then all of a sudden, on the song Eclipse, he would say something like, goodbye to my openness. Oh. Shoot. Man. I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, I'll let that lyric speak for itself, but there's a lot of times where you're just meditating, you're just kind of listening to the album, and all of a sudden this specific lyric would just pop out to you, and you're just like, whoa, wow, Okay, so you got freaking beats, you got Earl's raps, but besides that, the freaking last 3 songs on this album was just... Like on this song Playing Possum, you have his parents like featured apparently, but they're actually just samples apparently based on Rap Genius. Well, what's so freaking funny about these songs is that, you know, if you're like high as heck, you're probably like, oh, that's Earl's parents, and they're rapping on the song? Whoa, dude, that's freaking lit gang stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we in this. But they're not actually rapping because it almost feels like they're rapping, because if you listen to the entire album, Earl is he's just kind of like talking in the album. He's not really necessarily almost kind of rapping. But when you get to that song Playing Possum, it just almost sounds like they're rapping, and it's just such a ghostly, such an eerie freaking thing about it. I mean, heck, you might as well say they're rapping, because when you get to that next song, Peanut, wow, jeez, ugh. No, I don't even think I can do this anymore. Jeez, Peanut. Peanut is probably like, you know, when you like jump off a bridge and you kind of have like a near-death experience, you kind of like have your life flash before your eyes. I feel like the song Peanut plays when you're having a near-death experience or something, because oh my gosh, like Earl, the freaking beat is just all over the place. Like it almost sounds like the freaking DIY freaking indie band is just like setting up for their show. They're just tuning their instruments, and then you just like take that audio recording and you put in Logic and you turn the freaking pitch to -12, and then you just have Earl just being like, yeah, things suck, man, things freaking are horrible. And then you finally get to that last song, Riot, where it's just like, it's funny because Riot actually reminds me of like that little instrumentation that plays after Grief in his song I Don't Like Poop, I Don't Go Outside. Like, you know, you just have all this really dark, lonely stuff. But yeah, you know what it really reminds me of? It's kind of like you're just like on acid, but it doesn't kick in until it's like nighttime. So you're basically like tripping throughout the whole night, and you're just kind of like sitting in your bed trying to sleep, and you're like, man, this sucks. And then finally the sun comes up and you start to sober up at the same time, and you're just like, man, this sucks. But yeah, I mean, this Earl album is ridiculously amazing. Like, you know, if you hear his self-titled album, you know, it's just basic Odd Future, you know, freaking, we're freaking adolescent morons, you know what I'm saying? You get the Doris, it's more of like a weird, darker side of Earl, kind of a lot more professionally recorded. It's definitely his more like, yeah, just his professional album, you know. And then you get to I Don't Like Poop, yeah. Basically, his third album was kind of like a more darker, freaking sadder side of Earl, and definitely a more personal side of him. And then some rap songs are just like, they're like, so yeah, fam, go listen to this album. If you really like trippy, glitchy beats, if you like weird, rappy flows, and if you like a really consistent, very sounding album until you get to that last freaking 3 songs and it just blows your freaking mind, go take this album for a listen. It's really, it's definitely, I might be a butthole and say I never heard like an album like this before, but then someone else probably did it, and that person I'm talking about probably did it before that person, and the person I'm talking about probably did it before that person. But yeah, I'm Ya Fam. I'll see y'all later. I'm gonna go